What's up, everybody? I'm Gerald Bourguet, and welcome to a new edition of the Bourguet Breakdown, where we try to make Suns basketball a little easier to understand by looking at some highlights and sometimes some lowlights. That's certainly the case today, since we're talking about the Suns' fourth quarter woes from last season, but also why it might just be a one-year fluke looking ahead to the upcoming season. Now, let's get started with the basics. The Suns had the worst fourth quarter net rating in the entire NBA last season. Not only was their minus 11.6 net rating more than double the second worst fourth quarter net rating in the NBA, but going back to the 1996-97 season, which is as far back as NBA.com's database goes, last year's Suns team had the seventh worst fourth quarter net rating over the last 28 years. Seeing the Suns name next to the Charlotte Bobcats, a Vancouver Grizzlies team that no longer exists, and a Bulls team that completely collapsed as soon as Michael Jordan left is rough enough. But for those who don't enjoy math, we don't really need analytics to tell us that having the seventh worst fourth quarter net rating out of a grand total of 832 teams over a 28-year span is really bad. Everything seemed to fall apart for Phoenix when the fourth quarter hit. They ranked 30th in scoring, 26th in field goal percentage, 22nd in three-point percentage, 29th in rebounding, 25th in assists, and 27th in turnovers, so their problems really extended across the board. Out of the 82 games that the Suns played last season, they lost the fourth quarter 47 times. They only won the fourth quarter 28 times, and they tied 7 times. There are a few positive signs that this god-awful net rating won't be the case again for the upcoming season. For starters, out of those 47 fourth quarters that the Suns lost, 21 of them came in situations where the Suns were up by double digits entering the fourth quarter, lost the fourth quarter, but still won the game. And out of those 21 fourth quarters where the Suns lost the garbage time battle but won the war, 17 times they were up by 15 plus points through 3 quarters, and 13 times they were up by 20 plus points. Essentially, what that tells us is some of the Suns' atrocious fourth quarter numbers come down to blowing teams out through 3 quarters, the other team fighting back in garbage time, and the Suns coasting to a comfortable win despite losing the fourth. With that being said, there were definitely cases where the Suns left the door open and made games more competitive than they needed to be instead of slamming the door shut in the fourth quarter. Out of the 47 fourth quarters that the Suns lost last season, 10 of them came in games where the Suns held a lead going into the fourth and completely collapsed with one of their fourth quarter meltdowns, and it cost them the game. In those 10 specific games, they led by an average of 6.6 points going into the fourth quarter, and then they lost the fourth quarter by an average of 14.5 points. That's really bad. So why will next season be any better? For starters, having true traditional point guards like Monte and Tyus Jones will help keep the Suns more organized, especially at the start of fourth quarters when Devin Booker is typically on the bench. Book usually plays the entire first and third quarters before resting for a few minutes to start the second quarter and the fourth quarter, and that was typically where things fell off for Phoenix last season without having one of their leading scorers and their top playmaker on the court. Obviously, having Tyus Jones and Monte out there to keep things organized will help mitigate some of those concerns. Another positive factor will hopefully be going from Coach Frank Vogel to Mike Budenholzer, as Coach Bud has a history of churning out top 10 defenses and offenses with the system that he has, which is a modern approach that likes to prioritize taking threes, so hopefully that will help the Suns in the fourth as well. But finally, it's just hard to believe that a team with Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and Bradley Beal could possibly be that historically bad in fourth quarters again. Winning 49 games despite losing 47 fourth quarters is actually kind of insane, and now the big three have better depth behind them with more traditional ball handlers who can feed them the ball in their favorite spots and simplify what Phoenix needs to do on offense. Thanks for watching this episode of the Bourguet Breakdown. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the PHNX Sports YouTube channel, and tune into the PHNX Suns Podcast every day at 3 p.m.